What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now don't forget to like this video as it does let me know to continue to give you free picks every day. So make sure to like this video clicking that button down below. Now I also did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see we actually got 19 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. So we're in a huge hot streak, but if you want to get 19 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord that can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $1,827 just yesterday. Another member who won $220 for the 6th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, a link will be in the description, so go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. So quick shout out to Best Parlay Data, who said simple is easier and it usually works. So shouts out to him. And if you do want to win a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below in this video and like it, and you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. All right, so let's get straight to the first pick. When it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're going to talk about is none other than Stephen Castle, and this one is for 5.5 assists, and this one actually is for less. Now looking at Stephen Castle, we actually have seen him go on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. Now as we mentioned before, some of these games are actually from last season. However, 3 of the most recent games are actually from this season. So focusing on those, we did see October 23rd faced off against Dallas, had 6 assists there. October 25th faced off against the New Orleans Pelicans, had 5 assists, and then 3 assists against Brooklyn Nets on October 27th. So it is pretty interesting to see when it comes to Stephen Castle. We have seen him do a fantastic job, in some of those games. Other games hasn't really done too well. And technically, over the last 3 games from this season, he's actually gone to the under in 2 out of the last 3. Now, his average over the last 5 is 6, but he's a little bit skewed from the other 2 games from last season. But San Antonio Spurs do find themselves in a very good matchup against none other than the Toronto Raptors. Now, it is definitely going to be an exciting game there. Now, looking at Toronto Raptors and also, San Antonio Spurs, where both of these teams do rank. Starting off with the Spurs, Spurs have got off to a fantastic start as they currently rank 1st in the Western Conference. Now, they actually have a record of 3 wins and 0 losses, so that's a 100% win rate. They're also 2-0 from away and 1-0 from home, so currently on a 3-game win streak. They are hoping to continue that against a team like Toronto Raptors. And looking at Toronto do actually, or have actually ranked 9th in the Eastern Conference. Now they also have a record of 1 win and 2 losses. Now they have a 33.3% win percentage, and on top of that they are also 0-1 from home, 1-1 from away, and are currently on a 2-game losing streak. So it is pretty interesting to see when it comes to the Raptors, because when we actually look at the Raptors, they don't really have that poor of a record, but since some teams have won a little bit more or 1 extra game, it does put them very low in the actual ranking. But looking at this matchup more in depth, looking especially at defensively where Toronto Raptors rank, we do see Toronto Raptors do rank when it comes to assists allowed. They do actually rank 22nd. So why do we like the under for this situation? And a big reason being is that when we actually look at Stephen Castle, the reason why we do like the under is due to the fact that when we actually look at Stephen Castle, who does play the guard position, Toronto Raptors actually do a fantastic job at restricting assists to the guard position. So we are expecting the under for this situation here. We definitely see someone like Stephen Castle going on the under due to the fact that, we are expecting Toronto to really push that defense on guards and restrict them as much as they can, which should definitely lead to the under for this one. Now, when we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the under as well, so that works out in our favor there. So Stephen Castle, 5.5 assists for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about none other than Kelly Oubre Jr. Now Kelly Oubre, great player from none other than Philadelphia, and he's done a fantastic job. However, this one is for 14.5 points, and this one actually is for less. Now looking at Kelly Oubre, we actually have seen him do, a pretty poor job over the last 5 games, as he has gone on the under in 3 out of the last 5. Now, looking at the last 5, we do also see that Kelly Oubre has only played 2 of the games out of the 5 that are actually from this season. That's October 23rd, faced off against Boston and had 10 points there. October 26th, faced off against Charlotte and had 19 points in that matchup. So technically, so far this season, he has gone on the under in 1 out of the last 2 games. So when we look at his average over the last 5, it is 15, but that is a little bit skewed due to the other factors of games from last season. But Philadelphia have themselves a really good matchup against Orlando Magic. Now, it is definitely going to be an exciting game, but looking at where both these teams do lie, starting off with the 76ers. 76ers have started off strong and have actually had 2 wins, 0 losses, and also a 100% win rate. They're currently ranked 2nd. They have a record of 1-0 from home, 1-0 from away. So they have done a great job there. And they face off against Orlando, where Orlando do actually, rank 11th in the Eastern Conference. And they have a record of 1 win and 2 losses. So that's a 33.3% win percentage. Now, they also have a record of 1-2 from home, but I've also played 0 away games. And looking at this matchup, looking where Orlando Magic do rank when it comes to points allowed, we do actually see that Orlando Magic rank 8th when it comes to points allowed. That's a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here. When we look at someone like Kelly Oubre as well, we do also know that Oubre, I wouldn't say, unfortunately, isn't, the biggest scorer or the highest volume shooter for this Philadelphia team. Yes, he did get 19 points in a most recent game against Charlotte, but Charlotte, very fast-paced team, does allow a lot of shots, and Kelly Oubre was able to take advantage of that. But with a matchup like Orlando, who do a great job at restricting points in general, we are expecting Kelly Oubre's usage rate to drop quite a bit, and we are expecting other kind of bigger players in this Philly team who do have a little bit of a higher usage rate compared to Kelly Oubre do a little bit better in the points department. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for the under for this one, for someone like Kelly Oubre. So definitely keep an eye out for his line, as I've always mentioned. Keep an eye out for the line, and when we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the under as well. So Kelly Oubre, 14.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about Deni Avdija. Now, Deni, great player for Portland, has done a fantastic job, but this one is for rebounds and assists. So this one is a combo one for 11.5, and this one is for less. Now, looking at Deni, we actually have seen him go on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. Now, 2 of these games are actually from last season. So actually focusing on the games from this season, we saw on October 23rd, faced off against Minnesota, had 8 rebounds and assists there. October 25th, faced off against Golden State Warriors, had 11 rebounds and assists. And then October 27th, faced off against LA Clippers and had 12 rebounds and assists there. So we actually have seen Deni go on the under in 2 out of the last 3 games. So he's actually gone on the under more than 50% of the time for the games this season. And Portland do find themselves in a matchup against the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, looking at where both these teams do lie, starting off with Portland, Portland do actually have a record of 1 win and 2 losses, which puts them in the 12th spot in the Western Conference. Now, they have a record of 33.3% from the actual winning percentage, and on top of that, they are 1-1 from home and 0-1 from away, and they face off against the LA Lakers, as we mentioned, where Lakers do currently have a record that put them with at the 4th position with 2 wins and 1 loss. So they have a 66.7% win percentage there. They're also 1-0 from home, 1-1 from away, and are currently on a 2-game win streak. So it's pretty interesting to see there. But looking at Los Angeles Lakers defensively, we do actually see that Lakers, when it comes to assists allowed, Lakers do actually rank surprisingly 21. And then rebounds allowed, we also do see that the Lakers rank 5th. So interestingly enough, they do rank a little bit better in rebounds. Now, the reason why we do like the under for this situation is for 2 reasons. The first being that when we look at LA Lakers, they do a great job at rebounds, a little bit worse than assists, but we actually do see that Lakers do a fantastic job at restricting rebounds and assists to the forward position. So we definitely are expecting, the under for this situation due to a per position basis. But on top of that, we also do know that when it comes to Deni, we actually have seen his usage rate be a lot more on the lower side as of lately. So we are expecting that to affect this game greatly. So for that reason, we do very, very much like the under for this one. And we look at someone like Denny over the last, couple of games, we definitely have seen his usage rate remain somewhat on the lower side compared to what they are expected. So for that reason, we are sticking to the under for this one. So 11.5 rebounds and assists combined for Denny Advidja for less, I think is a fantastic pick. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Jonathan Kuminga. Now, as you all know, Jonathan Kuminga, great player as we all know, and he has done a fantastic job so far this season, averaging 15.7 points, 7.3 rebounds, 4 assists, and also has a 55.2% field goal percentage. Now, looking at Jonathan Kuminga, he has done a fantastic job for the Golden State Warriors, and the Warriors find themselves in a pretty good position as they currently do rank third in the Western Conference. Now they have a record of 2 wins and 1 loss. They have a 66.7% win percentage, and on top of that, they are 1-0 from home and 1-1 from away. So when it comes to Kuminga, we are definitely expecting something a little bit different coming into this matchup. But looking at this matchup more in depth, we do also know that they face off against the Memphis Grizzlies, where the Grizzlies also have been playing pretty great as they currently rank 6th in the Western Conference and have a record, or the same record, of 2 wins and 1 loss. Now they have a record of 2-1 at home and 0 games have been played in away. But looking at this matchup, we do also know that Kuminga has done a pretty decent job over the last couple of games as well. Looking at his past games, we see against LA Lakers had a 119-109 win on the 22nd and had 17 points, 6 assists, and 9 rebounds there. Then on the 24th, face off against Denver, had a 137-131 overtime win, where he actually had 14 points, 3 assists, and 5 rebounds in that matchup, and then 16 points, 3 assists, and 8 rebounds actually against Portland on 139 and 119 loss. So, Golden State Warriors are looking to bounce back against the Memphis Grizzlies. And looking at the Memphis Grizzlies and the matchup here, looking at them defensively, we do actually see that Memphis do rank when it comes to points allowed. Memphis Grizzlies actually rank 21st. Then moving on into assists allowed, we do see that the Grizzlies rank 19th. And then rebounds allowed, Grizzlies also do rank not really the best, I would say, as they rank 24th. So looking at that, we actually do see that Memphis Grizzlies do rank pretty low in all 3 categories. And that's a big reason why we do very much actually like the, over for this situation here. We definitely see someone like Jonathan Kuminga going on the over due to the fact that when you look at someone like Kuminga, he has definitely seen an increase in his usage rate so far this season. Golden State Warriors definitely do play, someone like Jonathan Kuminga at times, but this season has definitely been very different. We have seen him play quite a lot of minutes, and also when it comes to the offense that they are running, Kuminga is getting a lot more touches. So that's why coming into this matchup, we do very much like the over for this one. So definitely keep an eye out for Jonathan Kuminga. Keep an eye out for the line. If the line is under his averages, then definitely look to go on the over. But we are definitely expecting him to go on the over in whether it's points, rebounds, or assists. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Quentin Grimes. So, Quentin Grimes, great player, as we all know, and has done a fantastic job so far this season. And he's actually, averaged so far 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and a 45.5% field goal percentage. So, he's definitely done a fantastic job there. Now, looking at someone like Quentin Grimes, we do also see that, Quentin Grimes and Philadelphia 76ers have themselves a very good matchup against Orlando Magic. Now, Orlando Magic is definitely going to be a very exciting game for sure. But looking at actually this matchup or looking at where both these teams do lie, starting off with actually 76ers. 76ers have surprised a lot of people because a lot of people thought that they weren't going to be a contending team, but they've actually done a fantastic job because we find that 76ers currently rank 2nd in the Eastern Conference. So they've actually done a fantastic job there. Not only that, but we also do know they have a record of 2 wins and 0 losses, so a 100% win rate. And on top of that, they are 1-0 from home, 1-0 from away. Now they face off against Orlando Magic, where Magic have had a little bit of a slower start to the season because they currently rank 11th in the actual Eastern Conference with a record of 1 win and 2 losses. So very interesting to see there. Now also looking at someone like Quentin Grimes and also the matchup between 76ers and Magic, we also like to take a look at Quentin Grimes over his last, past games. We did see them face off on the 23rd against Boston, had a 117-116 win, so was able to beat that nail biter of a game. And Quentin actually had 10 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds there. Then they faced off against Charlotte on the 26th and actually had 24 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds against Charlotte. Now, this one was an interesting one because obviously, they have definitely had some pretty big nail-biting games and could be no different against this one against Magic. Now, looking at Orlando Magic defensively, however, we do see that they rank 8th when it comes to points allowed. When it comes to assists allowed, we also see that, Orlando Magic ranks 17th, and then rebounds allowed, also Orlando Magic ranks 16th as well. So, unfortunately, we have seen Orlando Magic, although they have done a fantastic job last season, we do see them rank pretty low in rebounds and assists, and that's why we do like the over for this situation here for someone like Quentin Grimes, however, strictly just for rebounds and assists. Now, points is a bit of a tricky one because Orlando Magic do rank a little bit better. I see that more as more of a 50-50 type play. That's why I would definitely, unfortunately, would stay away from that and just stick mainly to rebounds and assists to go on the over. For someone like Quentin Grimes, he does have a good usage rate in both of those departments, so we don't really see him struggling there. So for that reason, I would definitely keep an eye out for the over for this one for someone like Quentin Grimes. So definitely keep an eye out for Quentin Grimes and his line. Like I mentioned, keep an eye out for the line. If it is under his averages, definitely look to go on the over. But as I mentioned before, focus on those 2 rebounds and assists due to the situation of Orlando doing a little bit better defensively on that points line. Now getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about none other than Ozar Thompson. So Thompson, the Thompson twins, very popular and very famous right now, but Ozar Thompson has been a great player for Detroit Pistons. Now, when it comes to Detroit and also Thompson himself, Thompson has actually averaged 15 points, which ties him at 83rd, 5.5 rebounds, tying him at 75th, also 5.5 assists, tying him at 31st. Now, he has a 58.3% field goal percentage, so he has done a fantastic job there. Now, looking at this matchup, we do also know when it comes to Ozar Thompson, we do know that Detroit Pistons have themselves a very good matchup coming into this next one against none other than actually, the Cleveland Cavaliers. So it is definitely going to be an exciting game. They are coming off, some pretty tight matchups in a sense that they've had some pretty close games. But looking at Detroit and looking at, where both of these teams do lie, starting off with Detroit Pistons come in at the 8th spot in the actual Eastern Conference. So they have done a great job. They do actually have the same record as, pretty much almost all the teams above them until the 3rd spot. So they are all on 2-1, so 2 wins, 1 loss. It really does come down to points for and against, but looking at this, we definitely have seen Detroit, do a fantastic job. They've remained a very, very great defensive team. They're 1-0 from home, 1-1 from away. And on top of that, they face off against, a team, Cleveland Cavaliers, where Cleveland do rank 6th with the same record, 2 wins, 1 loss, 66.7% win percentage, and also are 1-0 from home, 1-1 from away. So very interesting to see. Now, when it comes to Ozar Thompson, we definitely have seen him do a fantastic job for this team. But overall, what we also do actually see when it comes to Ozar Thompson is that, looking at his last couple of games, we saw against Chicago on the 23rd, had a 115-111 loss. Now, he actually had 11 points, 7 assists, 9 rebounds there. Then on the 25th, faced off against Houston Rockets, had a 115-111 win. 19 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds in that matchup, and then 21 points, 3 assists, 12 rebounds against Boston, and a 119-113 win. So they are a little bit of on a hot streak as of recently, or on a win streak, I would say. Now, when we actually look at Ozar Thompson and the matchup against Cavs, looking at Cavaliers defensively, we actually have seen them rank when it comes to points allowed to start off. We see them rank 17th. Then moving on into assists allowed, we see that the Cavaliers do actually rank 16th. And then rebounds allowed, we also see that they rank 8th. So, unfortunately, although Cavaliers are a great team, they currently rank pretty low when it comes to some categories, specifically points and assists. Now, when it comes to someone like Ozar Thompson, we actually do like the under for this situation. situation here, but strictly just for rebounds. Now, like I mentioned before, Cavaliers do rank a little bit higher in points and assists, so that's why we are staying a little bit away from that. And we do just very much like the, under for rebounds. Now, a big reason why we do like the under for this one is due to the fact that when you look at the team that they face off against, which is Cavaliers are just a fantastic team when it comes to rebounding and definitely have some, intense bigs when it comes to rebounds from their roster. So we are expecting them to really, add that interior defense to this, game, and it may be a lot of trouble for someone like Ausar Thompson, who does play the guard position. Remember that, to really struggle to get those boards. So we are expecting the other bigs in Detroit to do a lot more of the rebounding, especially against a tall team like Cavaliers. So we do very much like the under for this one. When you look at Cavaliers as well, we also do see on a per position basis, they do a fantastic job at restricting, actually rebounds to the guard position. So we definitely see him going on the under in that one. So keep an eye out for Ausar Thompson's line. Like I mentioned, stick to the rebounding line and keep an eye out for it. If a line is too close to his averages, then definitely look to go on the under. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Devin Vassell. So, Devin Vassell, great player, as we all know, from none other than San Antonio Spurs. Now, they are coming off a back-to-back, as they most recently just did play, but Devin Vassell so far this season has done a great job, actually averaging 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. So we definitely have seen him do a fantastic job so far for the Spurs, and the Spurs have been, really exciting to watch just from a fan perspective, and everyone's been loving to watch them. Now, looking at this, sort of team and their matchup that they face off against. Now, Spurs are coming off a back-to-back. They did recently just play yesterday, but looking at Spurs, they now face off against the Toronto Raptors. Now, it is going to be an exciting game, but looking at where both these teams do lie, starting off with the Spurs are currently 3-0. So, Spurs have been on an absolute hot streak. I think everyone was expecting that, as, Victor Wembanyama has come out this season really, blazing. Now, they are on a 3-0 start, have a 100% win rate, also 1-0 from home, 2-0 from away. And looking at this more in depth, we also do see that when it comes to, Spurs, they've also not only just on a 3-game win streak, but they've been, beating these teams very convincingly. Now, when we look at their matchup, which is Toronto Raptors, they are in a different conference, and they do actually rank, 9th in the Eastern Conference. Now, they have a record of 1 win and 2 losses. And on top of that, they have a 33.3% win percentage, 0-1 from home, 1-1 from away, and are currently on a 2-game losing streak. So it is going to be interesting to see, but looking at this matchup, it is going to be an exciting matchup for sure. Now, looking at Devin Vassell over the last couple of games and previous matchups, we did see against Dallas on the 23rd, we actually saw him have a 125-92 win. Now, he had 13 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds there. Then on the 25th, faced off against New Orleans, had a 120-116 win in overtime, had 23 points, 1 assist, and 5 rebounds. Then 16 points, 1 assist, and 3 rebounds with a 118-107 win against Brooklyn on the 27th. So it has been pretty interesting to see. Now, coming into this matchup, we do also know that now that they face off against Toronto, and looking at where Toronto do lie, we do see that Toronto Raptors do actually come in at, when it comes to points allowed, they come in at the 26th spot, the 26th spot there. On top of that, looking at assists allowed, we do see that the Raptors come in at 22nd. And then, rebounds allowed, we also see that the Raptors come in at 18th. So, unfortunately, it hasn't really been the best when it actually comes to, a team like Toronto Raptors when it comes to their defense. They have definitely been struggling just a little bit. But coming into this matchup, we do actually see that they have themselves a great matchup. And Devin Vassell, we are expecting actually the over for this situation. Now, the reason being is that when it comes to, Toronto Raptors, not only are they a really poor defensive team, but they also do struggle at, restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the actual guard position. So we are expecting someone like Devin Vassell to be able to go on the over in this one. Now, looking at this, matchup on a position basis, it's definitely a tall tale sign to us, and why we do actually like, the over for it. And we see Devin Vassell being able to go on the over, in any of the, categories, whether it's actually points, rebounds, or assists. So nothing is really standing out to us, or not really needing to focus on any. We just see a lot of value there to go on the over for someone like Devin Vassell coming into this matchup.